Well, it's time for friendship, and we're meeting in person for our first time. And we are going to make a slider card. All you need is a plastic bag, and we're going to cut it, and a sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. I'm using black. And as you can see, my first cut is 1/2 longwise of the 8.5 by 11 paper. I took a Sharpie and I wrote the measurements to help you remember. And of this 4.5 by 11 inch paper, we're going to make a 1/2 inch score, a 3 5/8 inch score, and on the other side, 3.25. And we're going to be cutting off a 1/2 inch of this 3.25 piece. We're also going to make 2 mats, 3 3/8 by 4 1/4. So let's give it a try. First, I'm going to score at 3 1/4. Then I'm going to score the other end at a 1/2 inch. Whoop, I pushed too hard. I could feel it going through here. Put that a little too much. I might put a piece of tape there. And then we're doing, from that piece, we're doing 3 5/8. So there's 3, a 1/2, and an 1/8. And those are the scores we need. But way back in the first place, we're going to go to that score line, and we're going to do a 1/2 inch on both sides. You don't have to do that. You can draw it, but I find a score line works easier. And now on that last 1/2 inch, these lines here, the 1/2 inch up to the 3.25, I'm going to cut right on the score line. It's not going to show. It's on the inside of your slider card, so you don't have to be too fussy. Then you're going to cut that piece right off on the score line, like that. And this is your base of your card. So if we fold on the score lines now, a little teeny off there. Now this one is torn. Of course, whenever I video, I make mistakes. Let's see what we have. It's going to be decorated, so I'm going to give it a chance and put a piece of tape here. That's going to be wrapped around. I don't like it. We'll start again. We'll use this one. So I'm going back to cutting, taking off my 1/2 inch. So may we all learn a lesson from that. Don't score too hard if you're using a paper cutter with a score blade. Okay. Now let's see how it works. Much better. Okay. So those are the measurements. This is 3 5/8. This is 3 5/8. 1/2 inch there, 2 1/2 inches there. Now we're going to take the bag. Now the bag, I took the edge off. It's just a basic sandwich bag here. You can cut it by hand, but the cutter works fine. And this is I think it's 2 3/4. Let me check my cheat sheet here. Plastic bag. It just says 3 1/4. So, nope, I'm right, 2 3/4. Now it is slippery, but from each bag, you can get two cuts. So that's enough for one. And this part is a little thick and it doesn't go through the cutter as well. So I just take my scissors and cut the sealing part off. This bag has to be smooth and you don't need any thickness on it. Okay, so I'll have a few ahead here. We'll make this 2 3/4. Down here. Okay. Now you cut the bag at one of the seams. Okay. And we are going to be adhering this 1 inch from the bottom of this little tab. And the easiest way to adhere it is to put a tape, double-sided tape, 1 inch up. I think it's 1 inch up, let me think. I think it's right at the bottom, actually. At the bottom of the plastic. And you don't want any overlap because we don't want anything to stick. So fold that, cut it off. Okay. Now I'm going to replace this about 1 inch from the bottom and take the cover off. I always have trouble removing these tapes. There we go. And I want it about 1 inch from the bottom. I'm just going to fold this over like so. Then I'm just going to cut off the edge, get rid of it. There we go. Now this should move fairly easily. It does. Okay. Now, notice when I did this one, I put front, so this is the front, and then this part will be the back. So it's smaller than that piece. And then I'm going to take one of my mats. Now the mats are 4 1/4 by 3 3/8. And I decided to round my corners. And I'm also going to decorate it first. Now you can put photos on these, you can decorate it later, it's your choice. But I just made it a little bit bigger, and you could also ink these. I'm not inking them. Whoops. Okay, now you are going to take the one that goes on top and you are going to adhere it even to the bottom of that little piece like that. And you want it to fit between the score lines. So let's take another piece of tape. and put it on the plastic. About an inch away from your original piece of tape. And remember, we don't want any showing on the side, any adhesive. Because we want this piece of plastic to be free moving. Now I find these hard to get off, but it's even harder to get off when it's on plastic. So I'm going to take the one I want to show on top. I'm going to put it even with the bottom between those two mats, like so. There we go. Then I'm going to open it up, and for the bottom one, I'm going to line it up with the top. So I put another piece of tape, double-sided tape, on the plastic near the top. Making sure there's no adhesive over the plastic bag. Remove the liner. This time, let's say, a little bit. I think this one should have been inked a little. But this time, we're going to line up the bottom piece at the top of this. Now we'll be able to slide, I hope. Guess it's easier to slide once it's in. I might not be giving it enough room here. Well, you're learning with me, ladies. I think I pulled it too hard. I should have had the outside in first. Now, remember I said you can't have any tape? I feel like there's some tape stuck. There we go. There we go. Now it's moving freely. Yeah, there's a little piece of tape somewhere there. Let's find where the tape is. Okay, I think we're free. Now this side, I have a piece of double-sided tape on the edge. This is the front of the card, and it's going to wrap around to the back, like so. Over, down. Good. Then you can decorate the top any way you want. And I'm just putting a mat that coordinates. And again, I did corner rounds on here. This you don't have to worry about the adhesive because it won't be touching. There we go. And now we have a sliding card. Now you could put a photo here, you could put journaling here, you could put anything here. And you can add that to your layouts. If you add it to the layout, I find you just have to put glue on the back one to adhere it to your layout. But there's your sliding card. Now there's one other thing you can do. I made these little tabs, and we can adhere those with a stapler. It could be a black one, it could be any color. I just used a basic punch. It could be a circle tab, a square tab, and that'll just help you to make it a little sturdier when you pull it. Okay, somehow we got through that card. But you can make these any size you want. I made this so it'll fit in a regular envelope so it can be mailed. So, And again, you can change the orientation too. Okay, I have one more little project. I wanted to just show you, this is without any decoration. And you can see it's, let's see, you can see how it moves, and there's no rounded, there's no, but that's what the inside looks like. Sort of wrapped on there on the plastic. So the plastic moves and makes it a slider. So when you get your mats set up, essentially it's a 1/2 inch, 3 5/8, 3.25, and then you're going to cut these pieces off. Then you can decorate it as you like. Okay, let's move this out of the way. I want to show you one more little project that can be added to a layout very easily. Now this project takes a knife. And so I just have, let's see, a basic cutting knife. Happens to be a Cricut one, doesn't matter, just a blade. And this time I cut the background paper at 4.5 inches. I made it shorter. I made it 9.5 inches. And then I'm going to decorate it with something 1/4 inch less. And to decorate it, I just put tape on the outside edges only. Okay, so this will be my sample. So your top piece is a pattern, and I have it at 4.25 by 9.25. And your back piece is 4.5 by 9.5. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take time to draw some lines. We're going to draw a line from the bottom of your paper. I also decided I really like making my, especially if it's going to be attached to a layout, I like making the corners rounded. So you do that for both your back paper. This would be my back paper. And you do it to your front paper, which is smaller. Now, I've already drawn my lines, but what you're going to do is draw a line from the bottom that is 2 inches from the bottom. And then every inch, you're going to draw another line. And just for 5 times. And I'll show you why. First, I'm going to adhere my pattern paper, because we are going to cut both of these papers at the same time. And what we're doing is we're making a little encasement for either photos or picture my life cards or anything you like. Okay. So I can see it better, I'm going to put a white paper underneath. Here is my back paper, 9.5 by 4.5. Yes. And I'm trying to make an equal 1/8 of an inch around the whole piece. There. Now I'm going to take a ruler and from the 3/8 inch line that I drew on both sides, I am going to knife on both sides of a fat line. That's the easiest way to do it. What I want is a slit in my papers. So I'm getting the plastic here. I probably should have used a metal ruler. There we go. Remember, we're going through 2 pieces. So push it down enough to get through both pieces, like so. So I'm on one side of the line, going to the other side of the line. So I'm making a little slit. And I'm going to do that 5 times. I think for purposes of this video, I'm going to do it 3 times. And then in person, I will do a couple more lines for you so you'll see how I do it. It's really quite easy, but you want to make it just a little dab, do ya? A little thickness. Because we're going to be putting cards in here. Okay, now I'm going to take a crocodile. I'm going to the small side of the crocodile. And I'm going to find where my lines crossed. I'm going to punch a hole. And I'm going to do it on the ones I've cut, right where they cross. And what this is for is it helps things to line up, and it doesn't let the edge rip when you put things in and out of your paper. Now these little slits I made should come right off. Not perfectly, so I didn't quite go through that one. There we go. So if I put this on a white paper, you'll be able to see the slats I made. Now you could ink this if you wanted to make it look a little more rustic. Let me just find, here's some paper. Now this could be a photo, or it could be a picture my life card. It could be just about anything. But if you attach this part to your layout, let me push this over here to get a better picture. Okay, you can, this is going to be attached to the bottom so it won't go out, but you can put your photos or decorations into some slots. It can be nice and orderly, or it can be haphazard, any way you want, but it makes nice little pockets without any added bulk. So I sort of like this technique. It works great in the small albums, but I think it would work great on a layout page too. And by Saturday, I'll add this to a layout page, or add this one to a layout page. So you can see any color will work. It's just 2 pieces of paper and then whatever you want to put in them. And this will be sealed on the bottom so it won't come out. And you can still see a bit of all your designs. So these are the 2 little fun projects we'll be making. And then you can make as many as you like with your own paper and your own colors. So don't forget, Friendship is on Fridays this coming year, and it's at the, what is the name of that church? Now I forgot. Ashland Church on Reynolds Road. So it's in a new location, and I'll still be doing Zoom meetings on Thursday for anyone who's not able to come. So Godspeed and God bless.